Houston, we have a problem.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. It's your host, Vikka, Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching us from YouTube, do comment, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're first time here, do subscribe and invite more friends to join the show. And if you're watching us from realtruthseekers.com, rts.video, yes, rts.video is one of our main sponsors for Heliopsychosis and most of our podcast and coming productions. So make sure you guys check out rts.video. And yes, what an awesome show we have today too. An awesome topic: energy, frequency, vibration. We cannot cover everything in detail, so we will be doing a general on these three, because each one of them could be expanded in itself into a show. So it's so amplified, this subject is in itself, it's so huge. So let's welcome our guest, Gene. How are you, brother?
Hey, Vikka. Thanks, bro. I'm doing well. Enjoying the spring. Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm just enjoying the sunlight, the warmer weather, even though it's definitely, the chill is different when it's warming up for some reason, but I'm definitely enjoying it. And I'm real happy to be here for a really super cool topic too. And thanks everybody for hanging out, spending your time with us. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. Good to see you, Keith. And hey, this subject is, like you said, Vika, this is so vast. Each one can definitely cover its own topic, and it'll be a great starting point for the three that do go together. And it can go. I'm curious to see how this goes. It could go anywhere from, like law of attraction, communication with nature, and kymatics, and living water. Water's been on my mind quite a bit lately. So yeah, I hope we get into any of those parts of it. And like you said, there's tons more. So I'm very happy to be here. Psyched for this one for sure, guys. And have a good time. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, definitely, brother. And yes, Happy New Year, because here also we have the spring, and we know the calendars and everything are mixed up. So
right,
at least we are, and the way these people have the April Fool for everybody. So the people are just like, putting that energy or vibration to a comical thing on a day which should be in reality a real importance day, right? The beginning of the new year, the beginning of new life, right? So
Sure,
it's crazy.
sure. Like instead of the one that we do normally celebrate in the middle of the, bitter cold. And that's one that
Yeah.
never made sense to me either as a kid. Like, how do they? It was just like, huh?
Because as somebody was mentioning, right, everything goes in the cycles, and uh,
Line.
so every these kind of festivals should always be days early or later every year depending on the cycle, but here is everything fixed because it's just in the end it's all business, right? So
Exactly.
anyway, we're gonna
Mhm.
have our next panelist, Keith. Keith, how are you, brother?
Hey, Vika. Hey, Gene. Good to be with you guys again. Yeah, looking forward to this show. Don't know how much I can, um, actually commit to or produce to give people information about this because I'm just studying this stuff myself. It's kind of new to me, but it's fascinating. And Gene, you mentioned kymatics, right? I pronounce it cymatics, and that is so fascinating to see the patterns that emerge in water or in salt on a display. With when the frequency and the sound is. I mean, how does sound create matter, or how does sound affect matter so much? And being that we are matter, and in the liquid, our blood that's in our body being mostly water, how does the stuff that we listen to, whether it's the lies on TV or the excuse my French, the bullshit music on the radio, how does that affect the blood in our bodies? This is stuff I've been thinking and wondering for the last year, maybe now, and even learning to start listening to a lot of the music now at 432 hertz instead of the other. It's an interesting subject. I look forward to see what you have to say about it, Vika, and I'll share some of the things that I've been looking into. But I think all of us are trying to get into a more natural flow with the way this system works, whether it be the 13 months of the year instead of 12, according to the moon, and the 28-day cycles. It's like I think if all of us practice getting more in tune with the natural rhythms of this realm, it should increase our peace of mind. And what's more valuable than that? So this should be a great show tonight.
Oh yeah, frequency, vibration, and energy, or any way we could put it. So before we start with our the theme and the main topic, as you were mentioning about the sound, like the sacred singing songs and chanting and trance, and or even could be just singing repeatedly different sounds. There's like it affects our existence. Like there's a whole new realm of secrets about vibrations, and the vibrations are the sounds. Like the sounds comes from the vibrations, right? We have mentioned that in our other podcast. So like sacred chants like Vedic mantras or Georgian chants or any kind of culture that use tribal way of chanting or dancing, it's all just trying to raise our frequency, right, with the sound and the vibration. A bit, if I could touch on it a little bit about the sound, as you were saying. And now this is with our today's topic. We can we know about Tesla, right? Speaking about energy, vibration, and frequency, we cannot avoid the person who is really known about finding this real true science and putting it in his inventions. Because as we mentioned, like Tesla, many people have different opinion about Tesla, that he's not real or it was fake or he didn't exist or whatever is the reason. The thing is that the technologies attached to him exist. Okay, right? And most of his technology functions on these three principles of energy, vibration, frequency, right? Because if we speak about our flat realm, According to him, he even says that the earth is a battery, right? We know salt water act as a battery too, right? To store energy. Like I live off grid, I work with solar panels, I have wind energy, I try different stuff. So I was looking into it to even extract it from the ground, right? And it's possible. Even the earth stores energy, currents, electricity, energy, whatever you want to call it, power. You can literally put a copper rod in your veggie gardens or near your fruit trees with copper, and the growth just multiplies.
Hey, Vika, I'm making those as we speak. I got the copper wire today. I think about 10 feet of 12 gauge wire I found that I had kicking around. It's perfect for what I'm doing in the garden. So that's really cool you mentioned that.
Oh yeah,
And
it can not only us, as we spoke about it also in the last podcast, right? That it's not only the animals, the plants, even us. So everything is included in that. It's these are like the genetic codes of existence of everything that exists, right? And also about the Teslas, because of these codes, the toroidal field we spoke about, of Earth being a toroidal field, the high pressure and the low pressure, right?
well, that's what I think it picks up in the ether. Whatever energy is in the air coming from the toroidal field and in it. So it's like one and the same, I'd imagine. But it's there. And they just made all the things like, hydrogen airship travel. They made that stuff so scary that it was easy for them to get rid of that stuff. And that's how they were able to travel really long distances with very low energy.
Exactly, because they were tuning, and they were using real science to for everything. That's why also Nikola Tesla's the tower was destroyed, and they didn't funded it well, because it was about free energy, right? I think Tesla was the real flat earther scientist to exist, because all his technology only works on these three principles and only on a flat realm. We know that. We have done a whole episode on Tesla about his life and everything. But the most important thing is that, even, for example, his motor, the AC motor, works on the principles of the same thing, of the toroidal field, of the negative and the positive pressure and the magnetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
The electromagnetic energy and how it creates the
polarity switch.
Exactly. So it's all worked the same way, the polarity with the earth as a flat realm. And yep.
Speaking of motors, that's the shape of some of the old world buildings. Were in the shape of, the octagon is the shape of the motor when you look at it a certain way, like vertically, from top view. And they say that some of those buildings were part of the energy system in the old world that purified the water.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to mention that the theory is that all of those ancient world structures that we see everywhere, literally, were
Right.
part of a worldwide or earth-wide or plane-wide power grid, that they knew how to use the energy from the earth and the energy from the sky. And people just going back to the gravity question that from some of the Globers. I was like, well, yeah. They said, what makes things fall down? I said, well, it's relative density and electrical forces. Even modern day science will teach you that electrical forces are far stronger than the force of gravity. And from my understanding, the Earth itself has a measurable negative charge, and once something leaves the surface of the Earth, it becomes positively charged. And the higher you go up in our atmosphere, the stronger that positive charge is. So as far as the gravity goes, positive and negative want to attract, but all these old world buildings that you're mentioning, they had these. They were huge. They were tall. I mean, they had these massive spires that went high into the sky, in my opinion, extracting energy straight from the ether and powering some kind of worldwide grid all across the surface of our flat Earth.
You're right into the water.
Yeah, and then it's absolutely, water is connected some way somehow. That's still a mystery to me, but that's things that I'm learning about, and I'm hoping and I'm sure other people are out there researching it and studying it, because hopefully we can get back to that. Where what if we didn't have a power bill? I mean, how many people are paying hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a year for energy that they're generating for free? What if we could just generate that ourselves?
Oh yeah, and also the electric sun we spoke about, right? How Tesla, according to his way, the sun is supposed to be local and it's supposed to be electric.
Yeah, absolutely. There's those two. I think I've mentioned this in the past. There's two of those electrical engineers that have put forth their hypothesis rather strongly that the sun is absolutely not powered by thermonuclear fusion, that it absolutely is electrical according to the observations that they have. And most people in the mainstream scientist community will not address their questions or their observations because it blows apart the entire heliocentric hypothesis. It goes against what they're saying. One of them, I'm trying to remember his name, Don Scott, and he's still a globe believer. He's still trusting in some of NASA's bullshit, but he put forth this really crystal clear hypothesis about the sun being electric, claiming emphatically that it's absolutely not powered by thermonuclear fusion. And you can find him on YouTube. He has a little 30-minute presentation, and he was an electrical engineer for 30 years, I believe, or 35 years, a professor of electrical engineering, putting forth this hypothesis that the sun is electric. Well, I mean, when I talk to people about flat Earth, I always say we live in an enclosed electrical, topographical, stationary plane. Everything is ran by electromagnetism, or electromagnetism seems to govern everything. And now you even have scientists here in 2023 saying clearly that the sun is electric. That blows apart the entire heliocentric nonsense.
Vikka, what's that video you have, Vikka? What's that guy's name? I can't think of his name right now. You have a really good half-hour video on the electric sun. Not the one we did. You did it like 3-4 years ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a great one.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name though.
Eric Dorad.
Eric Dollard. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the successor of Tesla, who continued his search on the electric sun.
Yeah,
and this is the thing. It's supposed to be cold. The sun is supposed to be cold according to them, and it's supposed to be electric. And what is the reason the Earth becomes hot when the sun comes out? It's just because of our atmosphere. The molecules in the atmosphere, the electromagnetic energy that is coming from the sun, it just makes that the molecule starts vibrating much more faster, and that creates the heat. It's a part of it. Like the vibration is a part of it that creates that oscillation in a way. Everything is supposed to be like we spoke about that too, right? That everything is supposed to be the more energy we put in, and so it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
It's like microwave. Microwave's cold, but the inside is the dangerous part.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be, the sun is supposed to be like a microwave. It's just concentrating the energy at one point, and that's what is creating the heat. It's just the sun.
Those waves, it doesn't come out as light. Right? It comes out turns into heat. It vibrates the molecules, so they just heat up.
Exactly. That's
what happens.
That's why it's calling microwave.
Right. And it's about, I think it's a 2.5-inch high band width. So it oscillates 2.5 inches, split in half. I think that's how it goes, but it's a different bandwidth, and they cut it in half, and the how high the wave goes according to how wide the wave goes is what your wave is and what it does. Does that make sense? So it's like,
Oh
up and
yeah,
down the wave on a line, and the line splits the wave in half. So it's
yeah, and the distance between those waves is supposed to be the frequency, and then you have the higher and the lower, right? So the more faster is supposed to be the higher frequencies, and the more lower is supposed to be the more lower.
like a wider frequency, a wider wave. Yeah. Hey, Keith, you know what made me think of when you said that the electrical forces are far superior to the gravitational hypothesis or theory, rather, is static electricity with a balloon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tim at Good Times for All did a short little video, real good. He his hypothesis is that it's not gravity; it's incoherent electrostatic acceleration, and
Right.
that's why things fall down towards the Earth, and not because of gravity. I mean, of course, we've studied enough to know that gravity is a complete theory that's never been proven. Neither one of them, not
Right.
mass attracting mass from what's his name? Who's the first one?
Newton.
Yeah, not mass attracting mass from Newton, and not the bending of space and time from Einstein. Both of those are.
That one's just ridiculous. That
Oh my
one's just
God!
crazy. It's like
The theory of relativity is so insane. So many claims with zero evidence.
oh boy.
I wanted to back up about Eric Dollard for a minute because he said a couple other interesting things about the sun. There was one point in his career he studied the sun exclusively for 4 years. And he's the one that came out and said the sun is hollow. There's nothing inside the middle of the sun. And also, he said it acts like a transformer in the sky, and that nobody knows what powers it. And this is an electrical engineer. Some people even call him a modern day Tesla, completely contradicting the heliocentric hypothesis. So you've got at least two, and I'm sure, and there's more than that. There's several other electrical engineers saying that the sun is electric. And what you were talking about just a minute ago, Vika, with the sun exciting the molecules or the what even we could call the noble gases. That's why we see different colors at sunset and sunrise. Is the electric sun is coming over, and the electricity is exciting the noble gases in our atmosphere, and we get these different colors. So the sun being electric seems to be an absolute scientific fact, but majority of the scientific community can't acknowledge that. Even though it's true, they can't acknowledge it because it destroys everything else in their philosophy or in their religion.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because also with the Tesla thing was the ball lightning effect and other technology like the radar, the radio transmission, everything works on a flat and stationary plane. Most of its technology and is dependent on all these three principles. It's crazy. So when you think of in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, you open up your mind to a whole new way of looking at the world. And we know Nikola Tesla had the answers. That's why he had those technologies like totally resolved. He totally understood how energy, frequency, and vibration impacts our life. So there's also to explore the universal laws that governs our universe and learn how to use them to our advantage. When we understand these concepts and live by them, we can create anything we want. Like Tesla was supposed to be a master of energy, frequency, and vibration. He understood that everything is energy and that by harnessing this energy, we can create anything we desire. He knew that if we want to attract something in our lives, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say if you act like you have it already and be thankful for things that you want instead of acting like you want them, kind of works, Just act like you're hot, like fake it till you make it almost. Don't act like you're miserable without stuff, and work towards your goals, right? And things do come to you in miraculous ways.
Oh yeah, because or you need to vibrate what you desire to be. So
Right.
you get on that frequency and you become, right?
Yes. It's exactly what it is.
We
It may
need to
be easier
match.
said than
Yeah.
done. Maybe easier said than done, but it's a mindset though. It's how you like train your mind to think. I try to be thankful for everything that happens, and life is temporary, so it's all a learning experience and positive.
Yeah, even in the Bible it says, seek and you shall find, right? It's the seek is like you have to, it's not seeking with your eyes. It's like you need to seek within. You need to, right?
Absolutely, and right after that, this says knock and the door opens, and it does. Like when you're ready to learn, the teacher shows up. All that kind of philosophy and attitude and like mantras to say and think, and it's a lot more fun than waiting for the football game. Right? To spend my mind thinking about plants growing and energy in the air. And you know what, guys? Right? Think about it. I tell this a lot to people who I'm talking this stuff about, and it's like radio waves. Simple way to think of it, because they're right there in your room. And for some of us, we have the same radio waves right in front of us, but we can't utilize them, see them, feel them, taste them, hear them, smell them, touch them, nothing without the right tool for that. And that's just a simple radio, and you got a bunch of stations you can tune into, and that's kind of like what we are, radios, right? Because your mind is controlling the body. That's something intangible controlling the tangible, and we're all swimming in that same frequency. That's so like the ether, the air is really actually the fabric that's connecting us all, really. And we know that through radio waves and TV and similar instruments like that. So
And
it's
we ourselves are the instrument too, right? Like we are the broadcasters and we are the receivers too, right?
yeah, right, exactly, both. That's like the
So
concept.
what we broadcast is important. We need to match the frequencies. Like, if we want to attract love in our lives, we need to focus on thoughts and feeling of love, right?
Yeah, and offer it too, right, bro? You gotta kind of give it to get it also, because if you don't know how to give it, you don't maybe know how to get it either.
Oh yeah.
So it's like everything, right? Oh, the dots may be far, but they connect because everything's a symbiotic relation that can't really go without being together. You need one,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, you need one to have the other. It's just that's that duality, dichotomy world we have. It's the yin and yang, and day and night, up and down, night and day. Utilize it though. That's what these controllers do. They're so hell bent on calcifying the pineal gland in disguise, no less.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be doing a whole podcast on the pineal gland. So
Nice.
definitely.
Nice. That's gonna
so
be good.
so when we focus on thoughts of feeling of love, we raise our vibration, and we begin to attract more love in our lives. So it can be like this for anything. So Tesla discovered that energy could be harnessed from sources other than fossil fuels, and he developed a way to use this energy to power our homes. So we know that the ACDC stuff also, that the ACDC war. The quote from Tesla: "If you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. Everything is vibration. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena." Yeah, it's stupid, right? Why the science only need to study the physical phenomena? That's
That is because they want to show proof, physical proof, and the stuff we're talking about is a little more mysterious. Maybe it's you got to work it out. It's a very individual thing. It's not it's not like for broadcasts, kind of. So yeah, it's very individual for everybody to explore.
And
oh yeah.
for a lot of those scientists, it's like if they can't see it or measure it, to them it doesn't exist. And there's an old joke that a professor was making fun of a student in his class that believed in God and said, "Well, can you see God?" No. So well, God doesn't exist. And the student said, "Oh, yeah, but professor, I can't see your brain either. So I guess your brain doesn't exist."
That's really funny.
So yeah, to me, the spiritual and the invisible is eternal, and it's far more important and far more real than the physical and the temporary, the stuff that we can see. And learning to be in tune with that and be on the same frequency of love or peace or joy of what we want instead of stuff that we don't want. That's part of the practice of life. Gene, you said it's so much easier said than done. Well, yeah, but it just like anything, it takes practice.
Yes.
Just practice focusing your mind on what you want, and practice focusing on your mind on things that are beautiful and good, and things you're thankful for. I mean, the more you do that, the more you get your mind focused on that, the more you change your vibration or your frequency to be in tune with the better things or the higher energies of life.
Absolutely. Keith, and that goes along with being thankful before you get them too, as well as when you get them. Then and prove it to yourself. And when you start to talk to yourself like that, you just get more conversation back in a way. It's not like, "Oh, good morning, how you doing?" conversation.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Oh yeah, there are laws that exist. There are different laws of divine oneness, law of vibration, law of correspondence, is law of attraction.
This reminds me of all the different gods quite a few of the cosmologies had for all different aspects of life.
Oh yeah.
Right? Totally. You pray to certain gods for certain things. Hey, did I say this last week? I don't know, but I was watching something with my daughter about those kids that got trapped in a cave in Thailand or Indonesia or something like that. I forget where.
Yeah, Indonesia.
Right? A big story, but those kids said a prayer to a goddess before they went in, and the goddess was supposedly the mountain. And when they show the mountain, it looks like a woman laying down.
Oh yeah, because that's the intent. It's like respecting the nature around. Even the Tibetans, when they are in the higher mountains, they have their way of doing the ceremonies. It's because the nature is cruel. When you are in the real nature, real McCoy nature, it's about survival. You can, one wrong step and you're gone, brother. So
break a leg in the trail somewhere, twist your ankle, what have you.
So they are not giving or praying to that some deity or whatever. They're just respecting that nature, that
Right.
that energy that controls that area, because
No, it's just nice to do that. I think it's respecting what you're going into. Dangerous place.
oh yeah. So the differences between energy, frequency, and vibrations, like the energy is supposed to be the life force that flows through all things. Like it's the source of our power and the key to creating anything we desire. Frequency is the rate at which energy vibrates. This is measured in hertz. And vibration is the amplitude or the intensity of the energy. The higher the vibration, the more powerful the energy. Everything in this universe is made out of energy, which vibrates at different frequencies. The energy that we emit also vibrates at a certain frequency. When we focus our thought on something, we emit a signal with a specific frequency. This signal is then broadcasted into the universe, and it begins to attract energy that vibrates at the same frequency. The universe is energy, vibrational energy. All energy vibrates. All matter is energy that has slowed down enough so that we can see it and touch it. So the law of attraction is not a new phenomena. It has been around for ages. Like I said before, it's also mentioned in the Bible. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. So thoughts and emotion vibrates at different frequencies. Everything you think and every emotion you have a particular vibration and frequency. And the higher the frequency, the more powerful they are. For example, the love vibrates at a frequency of 500, while fear vibrates at a frequency of 150. When we focus on thoughts and emotion that vibrates at a higher frequency, we raise our vibration and attract more of the same in our lives. So every thought, everything we think, everything, even we don't need to speak, we are sending it there to the universe. That's why when we go to a place that we feel good, we are vibrating on a higher frequency. And if we are placed that there is chaos and there is all drama and whatever, it just become. So even mastering to keep that frequency on a higher level is also an art and dedication, right? because once you know to do that, nothing affects you. There's kind of a bubble. You become in a bubble that nothing can affect you, nor physically, nor because everything is vibration, right? And frequency and energy, right? So it's crazy.
No, it's good though, bro, because it is like a bubble of protection that you can't let vibrate. You got to go down to that vibration for it to affect you. So if you don't go down to it, it can't affect you. So,
Oh yeah.
like arguing with a kid.
And it's kind of like that old saying too: "Not my circus, not my monkeys." Don't go down to it. I mean, and it's so tempting because we all have an ego, and that's part of the human nature is try to be right. And you can give away your happiness, you can give away your peace by going down to someone else's vibrational level of being angry or mean or whatever it might be. And I try to teach my kids this too. Just treating people like you want to be treated. The golden rule is not just for scripture or for Christians, but treating people like you want to be treated. He's like, I tell my kids all the time, would you want them to do that to you? If the answer is no, then you don't do it to them. Because the old reaping and sowing it's a universal law, if you will, a spiritual law. You cannot escape it. You call it karma or whatever you want to call it. We do reap what we sow. And the frequency that we think the thoughts with, whatever thoughts we have in our mind, if they're good, powerful, positive, peaceful thoughts, the more frequently we can have those thoughts, the more of that we're going to attract and give out to the world. But the more that we allow ourselves to fall into the pits or the traps of this system that we live in, and this system has traps everywhere. I mean, if you turn on the radio, you're going to be pissed off in 5 minutes because you heard something, some lie or some propaganda. So I mean, there's traps everywhere in this realm or this matrix. But if we can be aware of those traps,
Distractions.
Distractions, and that's part of the daily life. It's just dealing with distractions. So I mean, what I try to do is I try to consistently say yes to the things that are in alignment with what I want. I try to consistently say no to the things that are in alignment with what I don't want. So I mean, just something as simple as learning to say yes and learning to say no can get you further in life, and I think give you a happier life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this thing you said about those radio or the TV or the news going on, even if you're not literally watching that TV, maybe you're somewhere, there's that news going on, you're not even paying attention, but you hear that, and that sound is coming, and it's really abrupting your vibration and frequency, because as we spoke about, sound is also vibration, and they're literally bombarding us with that too. So subconsciously it's affecting us, even if we are not listening to it. It could be just around somewhere, so it's crazy.
Totally. 100%, bro.
And there's things you can control and there's things you can't control, and we can't control what the media is doing. We can't control all the lies coming out of the politicians' mouths. We can't control all that. The only thing we can do is control the thoughts that are in our head on a consistent basis, and can hopefully be a practice controlling the words that are coming out of our mouth, because the words or the sounds, the frequency, the vibrations coming out of our mouth, that has a lot to do with what we're creating as well.
Sure.
Oh
It
yeah.
does. Absolutely. It's helping to translate what our thoughts are, so they come out as audio, right?
Yeah, I think the words, the mystery of that is that's one of the first entrances into the physical world from spiritual, which might just be a thought or vibration that's invisible in your mind. But as soon as you put it into words, there's a physical vibration of that. And that
Created.
yeah, the power of life and death is in the tongue. That's a deeper truth than most of us realize. I mentioned this
Oh yeah.
a few podcasts ago, that the book of James in the New Testament says your tongue is like the rudder of a ship. So it determines what direction you're headed in life. I mean, most of the time, if you just sit down and listen to somebody talk for 5 or 10 minutes, you can tell where they're going to be in a few years of their life, because they're already predicting it or even prophesying it over themselves with their own conversation.
Exactly. It says a lot.
The visions of grandeur they're giving you.
Yeah.
So what you could do to raise your frequency, there are different things you could do. Like get in touch with your emotions. Start paying attention to how you feel throughout the day. When you catch yourself feeling low, take a moment to identify what is causing that emotion. Once you are aware of the cause, you can start to work on releasing it. Next, what you could do, fill your life with positive energy. Spend time with people who make you feel good. Do things that make you happy and surround yourself with beauty. When you are surrounded by positive energy, it will be easier for you to raise your own energy. What else you can do? Focus on your intention. What do you want to create in your life? Every thought and action should be aligned with your intention. When you are clear about what you want, the universe will start working with you to make it happen.
That's a tough one, keeping your thoughts aligned with your actions.
It's not impossible.
No. It's just that can be a tough one, though.
Yeah, it's really all.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying it's really all three. I call it TWA. That's your thoughts, your words, your actions, and trying to get those three things in alignment. You really start creating something good in your life. The way I look at it is there's two types of people in the world. At least from one perspective, there's two types of people, and that is creative or reactive. And there's very few people who are living on that creative path. And most of the people in this matrix are living a very reactive life where they're thinking about, talking about, and doing what other people want them to think about and talk about and do.
That they're waiting for the next thing to be told, Keith.
Yeah. But, from a higher perspective, at least in my opinion, there's only one type of person, and that is a creative person, because you're creating good or bad for yourself. Whether you realize it or not, whether you're aware of it or conscious of it or not, you're creating good for your life or you're creating bad for your life with the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the actions that you take.
True.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I learned recently? That creation is actually destruction, which is pretty cool and it's true, because let's say if you're drawing something, you created what you drew, but you destroyed everything else it could have been. Right? And that's with any kind of creation. If you stone wall, garden, anything, clay, right? You eliminate all the other possibilities of what it could have been. I don't know. I just kind of thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's about cycles, right? Everything. If there's a creation, there has to be destruction too, regeneration or.
Right. So in an odd way.
Oh, yeah. So what we also need to do is visualize our goals, like also see yourself achieving your dreams and living the life you want. The problem is the people don't know what the hell they want. First, the people need to make up their mind, what do they want, and then send that energy, frequency, or vibration out. The more detailed your visualization, the better. Include all your senses in your visualization so that you can really feel what it would be like to achieve your goal.
That's a good one, to use all your senses: the sound, the smell, the feel, the air. That's a good one to get the real in-depth feeling of what the possibilities are and what the reality could be. That's cool.
Oh yeah, you are creating it right there and it's happening.
Mm.
Take action, steps toward your goals. Once you have clear vision of what you want, start taking steps to make it happen. The universe will provide opportunities for you to achieve your goals. But you have to be willing to take action.
Right. Yeah, it's not just wishful thinking and hopes and prayers. Action is a big component.
Yeah, and opportunities, right?
Right. Sure.
Synchronicities, all these kind of thing, signals,
Seize the moment. Right.
all these are the creation giving you signals in a different ways, you know?
Yeah, I think it's all signals, really. Think about it. You're talking to yourself all the time. Nothing comes out without you considering this in your mind first. That even if it's like a knee-jerk reaction, it still goes through your mind. So keep your thoughts clean and clear, and it just compounds on itself. It works itself out. The more you talk to yourself properly and nicely and correctly, and because don't forget, right? Talk about vibration, and we recently talked about the memory of water, and we're 70% water. It made me think, how much of that water is there any water left in my body with the memory from day one and day two and day three? And is there anything, or does it all filter out? I don't know. I like that question though, because that could raise, what kind of thoughts could that raise? What kind of memories and insight and things could something like that raise if you're able to, connect with ancient water in your body like that?
Oh yeah, there's literally the proof of the vibration that it exists, right? When you are speaking to that water and it's changing.
Right. When you put a drop, how did he do? He put a drop of water and he was nice and mean to one drop and mean to the other, right? And then when he froze them, the ice crystals were really beautiful and very like
Ugly.
right.
Exactly.
They were
And the same thing
beautifully.
also goes, yeah, the same thing also goes for the plants and trees, right? You can have a tree or a plant
Yes.
and you can say, you're so beautiful, you're so healthy, you're so whatever, or you can
Right.
say, hey, you are not growing, you are no, or these are, and it affects, right? Even the trees. So it's literally telling you that sound and that intention and that vibration you're sending out is affecting, and there in itself is the proof of existence of the sound and the energy and the vibration, and how it affects us, because we
And
all are made of it, right?
yeah, and the ether, that we are connected, and all it takes is a thought. Thoughts are really powerful. I got a few stories on what I would call like vibrational thoughts and events that happen as a result of them. One of them is how when I was about 18 to 25 or so, something like that, 30 years ago or so, my sister had a Maine Coon cat, 18-pound, beautiful, very super friendly Maine Coon. And and I just so loved that cat. Right, so I died, and I thought about the cat over the years and missed it, and went through my memories of how I loved that cat and how cool he was. And then, like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I did something out of my routine, which brought me to a window I don't usually look out, right? And it was 7 degrees, you know, 0 degrees for like a week in a row. And I went over to the window of the microwave, and I saw a cat outside my window. And it's not a Maine Coon. It's probably a Norwegian forest cat, which look just like Maine Coons. They're just a little smaller. But then you take the whole scenario now, and it's like, what are the chances on cats just showing up in your yard that looks like a cat you so adored your whole life? And it's still a mystery. So, my wife, we talked her into letting the cat in the house. How about that? She was a little reluctant, but now the cat's our best friend, and when she does get out, she comes right back in the house. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a strange story. And my wife, she put up on all the Facebook pages if anybody lost a cat, went to neighbors, and nobody claimed the thing, which is, I don't know. It's a beautiful cat. If you know what a Maine Coon looks like, or a Norwegian forest cat, they're super friendly cats, and I think they're gorgeous.
Oh
So
yeah, if the cat comes to you, and especially if it's a cat that nobody it wants to stay with you, that's nice. The
yeah.
cats are mysterious, right? So they come with some kind of energy, right? And
So
uh,
true. Animals
yeah.
in general, though, bro, and they just have that ability to kind of read people pretty well. You can't blanket statement it and say, all dogs are spot on. If the dog don't like you, stay away from you. It's not 100% true, but they're close to accurate with a vibrational gauge of people. But
Yeah,
they can
because they are
also read.
vibrating on frequency that are like so pure, you know.
Right,
That's
right. So
that's the reason.
and like a dog can read fear as aggression too. So there could be certain confusion. But this makes me wonder with how they changed all the frequency of the radio sound to they just dropped it like 8 hertz or something like that. It wasn't all that much. The problem is they distorted it, and what went along with that is things I wonder. So if that's distorted and we're not hearing it properly, what's it doing to the water in our body? And well, what are the abilities of something like that? It's important to them, so I think it should be important to us as well.
Oh yeah. What we need to also do is like be patient. Sometimes it takes time for our energy to catch up with our intentions.
Oh, sure.
And we
No,
have to
right. That's the
yeah.
thing, bro. It's not instant gratification and that immediate proof of science that people want. That it's not going to be delivered by Amazon tomorrow. These things.
But it's kind of like if you plant the seed in the ground, you can't go out the next day and expect it to reap a harvest of fruit or whatever it might have been. You can plant a weed in the ground and that'll grow up pretty quick, but if you're going to grow an oak tree, that's going to take some time.
Ah, nice.
Oh yeah, patience.
And you
And
got to trust yourself is the thing too,
exactly.
guys.
Exactly. You need to trust yourself, and you need to trust the universe, and you need to trust the source, right?
Yes, yes. And it's also good when you do get those premonitions or wherever you do find your connections to acknowledge that and be thankful and recognize it. When you that's when you notice things, it will notice you back and go to that world and be in that world, and you find yourself more in that world naturally.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember last week I was talking about vibrating over the winter. I was horrified of the bugs, right? So I tried to vibrate in a way that the bugs didn't want to come near me. And I've been out all week, and I've seen them out there. They came near me, but they're not biting me. They're not aggressive with me, and they're keeping a distance, guys. So I'm, like I said last week, I don't know how real that is, but the timing is so perfect. And with this attitude I have, those bugs loved me, and they're leaving welts on me. Out of how many people, I'd be the one getting it. And I started thinking this way, and for 3 years now, those bugs don't come near me. And I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Oh yeah. So also for the crazy ones, they vibrate on different frequency, right? So if you just change yours, automatically you want to avoid all the crazy ones, right? So what we need to do is we need to let it go. We need to let it flow. Is to relax and let go of any attachment to the outcome.
Right. Let it flow is when you understand it's going to work. Don't buck the system. Don't doubt it. Just act like you did it already. And you're just doing it again, kind of.
Yeah, because going with the flow also means you're not going haywire and triggered when things are not happening also, right? That's also is going with the flow.
Exactly. Because there's that too. You're not always going to get what you want. And even when you do get what you want, it might not be exactly what you thought too. So there's the variations of things.
Oh yeah. So when you're in alignment with your intention, the universe will take care of the rest. And just enjoy the journey and trust that everything is happening for your highest good. Because when you think like that, it becomes like that. So these different laws can help shift our perspective and approach to life. There's also other law of these are like attention to, like including the law of vibration. So these laws are thought to be the very ancient and unchanging laws of our world. And some of these laws also go back to the time of earlier than Egyptian times. These laws have been passed down and made their round in different cultures, and plenty of people use them to help them manifest the life they desire and gain a deeper understanding of the reality. So the law of vibration, that according to that, everything, every atom, object, and living thing is in constant motion, vibrating as a specific frequency. The speed or the rate at which something vibrates is referred to as frequency. The only difference between one object and another being the rate of its vibration. So even the physical thing, even the matter, is in to an atomic level is vibration. The difference is because it's vibrating on a different frequency. So someone's energy or the energy of a physical space or a group of people isn't something you can see or touch, but it's something you sense, feel, and react to. The whole idea behind this law is not only that we all have a specific vibrational frequency, but further than that, we know that our vibrations, if we are caught in a lower vibration experience or scenario, the more you attune to your own energy, the more you see how your vibes affect your entire experience.
That's true, Vikka. And you're able to bounce in situations way better because you can read them better. You can handle them better.
Oh yeah, you need to differentiate. So how we can use this law of vibration to our advantage for manifesting, for example. In order to manifest anything, we must first match the vibration of what it is we are looking for. You will only attract to yourself energy that matches up with your energy. You will only attract vibration that match up with your vibration. So you want to manifest more wealth, health, or whatever, but you're constantly thinking about how you need more. You have to remember that our thoughts are also vibrational energy. The thought I need more money actually holds a vibration of lack and could lead to a self fulfilling prophecy.
That's true, bro. If you're thinking, I can't pay the bills,
You're not going to pay the bills.
the universe is going to say, oh, you like that? Watch. That's how it is. It's kind of, it doesn't know how to discriminate your feelings from your intent. So your intent has to be, well structured.
Oh yeah, we have the power to dictate the frequency of our being, like directing our own thoughts by directing our own thoughts.
I like to think so. Some people don't, but I don't know, maybe debatable. I like to think we do have control of how we handle our mind and what we do to it and what it does to us.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because like he was saying, like, what is it, like the good don't feed the bad monkeys kind of thing, you get the two monkeys on your shoulder arguing over a banana. Don't feed the bad monkeys, and they don't feed off for anything. And if you're not going to feed them, they'll eventually go away. You don't get
Oh
those,
yeah.
right? Yeah, you don't keep getting those thoughts that are interruptive and not harmonious with what's going to be good for you.
Yeah, I think one of the keys, and I've shared this from the stage lots of times, in years gone by when I used to teach is the difference between the deceptive desires of your mind versus the deep desires of your heart. You know, the things that you really want that really will bring you peace, really will give you joy, versus those things that the system says, hey, you need this, this, and this. And so it deceives you. And you got in your head that, oh, I have to have this to be happy, or I need to do that to be fulfilled. And so you waste time and waste energy and waste money trying to go get these things. And then if you do get them, you realize, wow, this didn't do it for me. It didn't really give me any more peace or any more joy. So learning to discern between those deceptive desires that the system puts in your mind versus the deep desires that the creator has put in your heart, that's an on like lifelong journey for me. You know, I'm always working on that.
Oh yeah.
That's cool, Keith. That's that competition ego thing
Yeah.
TV has a lot of people into.
Well, like you just said, the two monkeys too. I mean, you know, and a lot of people, I mean, you're aware of it, Gene, but a lot of people, they're not even aware of the internal dialogue going on inside of them all the time.
Right.
It's like your head arguing with your heart creates confusion.
Right.
Tell people, say,
Absolutely.
are you confused? If you are, that's because your head is arguing with your heart. And if you'll learn to listen to your heart and have the courage to follow it, you'll make some progress towards what you actually want. That'll actually give you some fulfillment. But I mean, if you don't listen to your heart and you let your head run your life, it'll literally ruin your life if you let it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a great sense of accomplishment when you realize that you do have that internal, like, the combative argument with yourself. When you're able to get a hold of it, it's a really, really good feeling.
Oh yeah, and there are other you can use this vibrational law for, apart from manifesting, how you manifest through your thoughts and vibration. It's also for navigation situations, right?
Oh yeah. Like, I'm out of here all of a sudden and something goes wrong, right?
So tapping into this universal law of vibration can help you figure out how you feel in a situation or a scenario at any given time.
Oh yeah.
Once you discern what feels high vibrational to you, like attitude, places, and people that feel connecting, healthy, and exciting, it's easier to sense when you are in the presence of high vibes. Also, for managing emotions, emotions hold vibrational frequencies, and working with the law can help you navigate them very well. Like, emotions are powerful guides to shift us into a higher, more balanced state of being. Adding emotions can range from very low frequency, fear, shame, to very high frequency, joy, love. There are no bad feelings. It's all energy that wants to move forward. When we feel anxious or stressed, this is simply energy that wants to move through us and be released. So the law of vibration helps us to recognize when we are moving through dense, heavy emotions, so we can let them go and maintain a higher frequency. It's really important.
It is, guys. It's important not to let the negative things that happen in life get a hold of you inside your mind and your heart. There's no blueprint for that either on how to get around it, through it. Or I wish there was. But
Exactly, because when you let it flow, everything comes in the flow, low and high, right? Just let it pass through.
right, you don't have to live there with it. It's not what we're meant to. We're not meant to vibe low either, though, guys. And I don't think, given the choice, I don't think many people would really take the lower vibration stuff. But the way things are portrayed in this world and that instant gratification, McDonald's kind of attitude, what we're bred into.
Oh, yeah. And Jonas Fig is saying in the chat, some people can suppress the emotion and some can't. And the one who suppress the emotion manifests into much more low vibration and frequency. Right? The emotions are really important because when somebody blows up, they just blow up emotionally because they have just keeping it so much, right? It's heavy, it's weight. Emotions are heavy, right? It's dense, right?
They can be, yeah. Yeah.
So how you can raise your vibration? First, practice self-care. So when you practice self-care regularly to raise your vibration and show up in the world in a cleaner and a stronger way. And the nice thing about self-care is it can look different for everybody. Whether it could be by taking a bathe in a river or a ritual or ceremony, prior or going to the nature or whatever is their quality time for themselves. When you take care of yourself, your vibration will reflect it. So do things that makes you feel good. We know how the life is with time and everything, but if you get that break and or that time period where you can dedicate to whatever you want, do things that you feel right, that is also self-care. Could be anything, could be reading, could be drawing, could be gardening, could be anything, because that disconnect is like real connecting you are to the frequency and vibration of the universe, the life flow energy. So after practicing self-care, you can try nourishing your body with high vibrational diet and movement routines. Avoid heavy unhealthy foods that can lower our energy. And when we have good food, we can feel that it's food for the soul. Like healthy whole food can leave you feeling energetic, light, and not bogged down. Also doing some physical activities, whatever you like. Find what feels good for you and do it.
Yeah, there's a book, you guys, I read a long time ago. I want to get my hands on it again by a guy named Carlos Castaneda. And he wrote a book where he
Yeah.
talks, right? You know what I'm talking about. Oh man, the name of the book is slipping me. It'll come to me. But this is where he talks about do it when you find what you like, do it and meditate through that. And it's so one of the for instances he gave was a girl was dancing. So when she dances, she sees, meaning she's connecting with herself, and this is what she's here to do. And that's where her connection is with herself. And I think that's what you're talking about, Vikka, right? Find a connection in yourself. And that's what it is, a connection to yourself. And that's where you can get lost for hours in something. And hopefully everybody's able to find that something, even if it's a couple things that you're interested in, but to get buried in a world that kind of doesn't really exist here is what it is. And then you bring that into this world, and it's just different. A Separate Reality is the name of the book by Carlos Castaneda. Really, really cool book.
He's the same guy who went to the Amazonian forest to try the stramonium. Maybe he's the same guy. Sounds like that. Carlos Castaneda.
Yeah, it could be. He's got a bunch of books, and he did a lot of traveling in the jungles. Yeah, talking to gurus and shaman and doing things, but that's that's what it is, and that's what he did. And then he went on with a few other for instances, but that's what it boils down to. What you deeply enjoy that separates you in this world is where you find an inner peace that is you, and nobody can create it but you, and nobody can find it but you. And that's a good place to look, is in like a creativity or a book, whatever it is for you. But that's what he dances and sees. I thought that was interesting because I could never dance, first of all, and then to be able to dance and meditate at the same time is just like, wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah, the dance is amazing because the universe is in a cosmic dance, because if we
Right.
see the energy, the vibration, the frequency, how everything moves, it's
Very cool. Yeah, I'm not surprised you knew that book. We might have talked about it once too. But yeah, anybody into the vibrational kind of transformation for yourself? That might be interesting. Check out the footnotes for it or preface, whatever it is, if you find it interesting.
oh yeah. So find what you feel good for you and do it.
Yeah.
One of the best way to build up a solid foundation of being in alignment and raising your vibration is to focus on daily activities that makes you feel good and balanced. Try to focus on joy, love, and peace, as these vibrations help you feel healthier and happier. What else you can do? You can meditate any different way you like. Emotions are one of the primary drivers of our energetic frequency or vibration. Picking up or deepening a meditation practice can improve our ability to regulate emotions. Let things go and raise our vibration at the same time. Whatever is your way of meditating is all correct. Cut out low vibrational people, places, and things.
And food. I guess that would be things.
Oh, yeah.
And TV, right? Be careful what you watch, guys. You know,
And what you hear too,
yeah,
right?
I was just gonna say, yeah, definitely. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV, and sometimes, even music, just and TV in the background, I can just find it so irritating, like physically, like I don't stress out much, but if I can't, turn the TV off, sometimes I get a little weirded out. But
Oh, yeah.
that's where being in control of your emotions and being able to meditate and stuff like that really helps, because if like my daughter watches TV, what am I gonna do? She's up late watching TV sometimes. I'm like, ah! My mind. But no, and it's good because I don't want to break her chops about the TV because it's not horribly loud, but it's in my way and it's in my audio, so and that helps me deal with things that I don't want to deal with. So you know what I mean. So
Oh, yeah.
right, I know it's just that'll make you stronger. Like a Marine kind of. Marines drag you through things you'd never do on your own. So I'm not gonna cause a ruckus over it. It's something that I find healthy for me to deal with, actually, because I really don't like it. But so what? Right?
Exactly. So don't underestimate the effect the external world has on your vibration. The more you work with the law of vibration, the more you will be able to hold your own vibe steady regardless of outside influence.
Very true. And what else, guys? When you get a hold of it and you're tempted or invited to change, let's say, um, you might, and you go back to a different way of thought, and then the next time you get invited to do something you're not really comfortable with in that situation, and then you walk away after not doing it, that's what you will latch on to, the growth of being invited to a circumstance and not reacting the way you normally would because you're tired of it for whatever reason, found a better way. That's when you're really going to notice, and that's when you're really going to be happy with it.
Oh yeah, and the people who are new to this work are highly sensitive, and for some of them could be a little bit of challenging.
Yeah. Little I don't say egotistical, but that's kind of what it goes with. You can't get the feelings hurt or whatever. So nobody makes you happy, nobody makes you sad, don't let anybody hurt your feelings.
Oh yeah. It's impossible to cut low vibrational situations out of your life altogether.
Right, but you know what, instead of going to what you call lower vibration, try, if you don't, the only way to communicate now is if that person comes up to your vibration.
Exactly, because you're not going lower, right?
No, yeah, exactly.
So the best thing you could do is avoiding people, places, and things that drain your energy, and that can help you protect the high frequency you've been cultivating.
Right. And that can be temporary, guys. It doesn't mean forever until you learn to really get a hold of it. and you're faced with or step into a few situations where you're looking to change the outcome or your attitude towards it, right? Let's say you're invited to an argument with somebody who's trying to say something you don't agree with. You don't have to attend the argument with that person, or situations that might be similar. You can get your point across without arguing too.
Oh yeah.
Right. And when you do, you think back on the situation, how you did react and how maybe you used to react. And, for me, that's how I changed. I was always willing to get into an argument. No problem.
So law of vibration and law of attraction. Like, that's what we had. The law of vibration is the first law that must happen before the law of attraction. In creating that vibration within yourself, you invoke the law of vibration deliberately. And only then can the law of attraction can happen. The law of vibration is about matching the specific frequency of what you are looking for. And the law of attraction takes this idea a bit further by allowing you to create the frequency within yourself by any mean, like visualization, meditation, or affirmations. At the end of the day, whenever we are manifesting, we do need to work with these two laws so we can attract and vibrate at the same level as what we want. What you align with vibrationally is easier to attract. So the law of vibration shows us that everything is energy. And we can match the energy of anything we are looking to manifest. It's crazy. Definitely this whole topic is like, it's so vast. We are just scratching the surface of bit of everything, right? As I mentioned earlier also, that sound is also related to the vibration, right? As I mentioned before about the sacred songs, the tribal or the mantras. And our voice is also really important. We can empower ourselves through the use of our voice. Using the sacred sounds, you can entrain your physical body, every cell of your being, to these sacred chants, which elevates the consciousness. When you entrain to these sounds, then you become the instrument. Your vibrations resonate throughout the body. It elevates the consciousness and can heal the physical body.
Yeah, it can. Vikka, right? A cat's purr is, I think, 30 or 50 hertz to about 120, 150, somewhere in that range. And even mainstream science will say that, oh, this is good for bone density and tendons and blood flow and muscle. That's a good vibration for that. And I had a problem with my shoulder. I don't know if anybody remembers, about 6 or 8 months ago, and I tried doing that to myself because it was a serious problem. Like, I didn't want to go to a doctor, and I thought of it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this on myself because this is a problem. And I don't know, but it felt better the next day, remarkably better. And like, I've torn my rotator cuffs. I know what shoulder pain is a little bit. It's painful. But I avoided the hospital. I avoided the doctor. I think most people probably would have gave up because it was a long time. But I worked hard at it, and it's not 100%. But I won't go see a doctor over it.
Oh yeah, the cats and even the dolphins. You know, there are even some dogs. You know, like
Wow.
so it's like this also the vibration what they are emitting, right? That are healing. It's a different way of sound therapy. It's called.
Right.
Someone in the chat named Dylan James says, since waking up, he only tunes his instruments to 432 instead of 440. And we mentioned that a little bit earlier, or I did at the very beginning of the podcast. But just over the last 6 months, not even a year yet, I've been listening to more music at the 432, and I can definitely say I feel more calm or more peaceful listening to the 432 music than I do the standard stuff.
Oh yeah, we like also the solfeggio frequencies, you know, and the sounds. This is whole in itself in topic for a podcast for that.
Really? Yeah, look at that. There's so many linking right to this. It's everything, guys. Everything.
I think the part of that to consider too is that, you know, from 432 to 440 is not a huge difference, but just getting that frequency tuned in to the right frequency, I mean, it makes a big difference. So it's like, and I think clarity, like when you talk about vision, Vikka, clarity is power. So whatever your vision is, if you can get it more clear in your mind and even be able to communicate it more clearly out of your mouth, that vision and clarity working together goes a long way in making things happen.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Motivation.
You know, this morning you guys know I do those monologues where I'm driving and talking and such, and I did one this morning called "The Kingdom of God and Flat Earth," and I just shared a bunch of scriptures out of the Bible that I've meditated on for years in my personal life, and how, you know, I personally do not resonate or call myself a Christian, but there's some wisdom in the scriptures, and there's some things about God and the kingdom of God being within you and Christ in you, the hope of glory. There's different things that I meditate on that when I do, it seems to give me more peace and more calm, or raise my vibration, however you want to say it. But there's things that you can meditate on, because, you know, the one of the problems with meditation that I found years ago is that some people teach that like, oh, you're trying to empty your mind. You're not trying to put anything in your mind. You're trying to get everything out of your mind. Well, the mind doesn't work like that. Things come and go, and you can, you know, watch a cloud come and go in the sky. You can watch a thought or a desire come and go in your mind. But for me, meditating is really putting something in my mind that I want to focus on and doing that consistently. So meditating for me is not emptying my mind. It's actually putting something in my mind and thinking about it and even talking about it out loud to myself.
Oh yeah.
That's a good way, Keith, because, you know, that's what talking to yourself has been labeled as what crazy people do. And it's probably a very, very healthy thing to talk to yourself out loud, like a nice low vibration, like a hum almost, you know. It's just mumble to yourself, sort of. So only you can hear it, kind of, you know, just softly.
Oh yeah, the breathing, right? Breathing also is sound. It's embodies the vibration and the frequency. It's all about the breathing, right?
I've thought of that. That's good.
Oh yeah. So also the chanting, like, so when you do any kind of these kind of chanting or whatever, the way you have, of with the sounds, then you become the vessel for those sacred sounds. What the word atonement and attunement have to do with sacred sounds, like atonement really means to break free from the remnant vibrations that you have been living in. And that's labeled as a sin, and all it is a lower frequency state. Once you atone and let go of that, you are bringing yourself back into attunement with higher vibration, and you are resonating differently. So once you become a vessel and use your voice, you are not only vibrating every cell of your being, but you're also bringing your brain into different brainwave or frequency. Now you can go from beta to alpha to theta. The slower the brain operates, the more we have access to it.
Yeah, right. Because there's less going through it, less chatter in your mind.
Exactly.
Hey, it's a cool thing I do if I'm meditating, or it's not like I feel like I'm meditating. It's fun to think about. Different. We talk about the size of the world and how big the dome is. So you picture a certain size, and then like I kind of shrink the whole world down, and when if I'm looking at a tree 20 feet away, I try to concentrate on the space 10 feet away where there's allegedly nothing in between me and the tree, let's say, and then just go on from there. So it's just like kind of focus on nothing. Got a little easier for me when I learned how to do that. Don't look at the tree, look at the halfway to it, kind of.
Oh yeah, the slower the brain operates, the more capacity it has. So when it slows down to between 8 to 12 hertz or cycles per second, that it's called alpha state. So above 12 hertz to 30 hertz is beta state, which is our normal state of operating. So if you drop below beta, you become into meditative states, and even lower into expanded state of consciousness.
Hey,
It's all
Vikka,
maths, brother. Yeah.
where is lucid dreaming in this? Do you know? Like, what state of mind is that? Because that sounds like right where we're at almost, and I've talked about that a few times. Haven't practiced it in a while, but it is a lot of fun.
I think once we are sleeping, we are in the lowest, right? So it has to be in the maximum capacity of our mind, right?
Okay, yeah, you get a lot of things going on in lucid dreams. You can be very creative in lucid dreams. It's like a whole nother world, guys. And it's simple. It's a little practice. In a week or two, you'll be doing it.
Oh, yeah. And how is it possible that we can speak about frequency, vibration, and energy, and we won't speak about the chakras, right? So there are many hidden truths to vibrations. And these secrets were encoded in the Vedas. Each chakra has a vibrational frequency related to it. For example, the heart chakra is called Anyahata, meaning unstruck. Subtle vibration in the ether element comes first in creation. It's called Yam, is for the heart chakra. And also Bij, which means seeds, is a mantra for meditation. It's a subtle sound like a thought, so said within and not spoken. The gross sound that can be pronounced from the heart chakra is Ha. H-A-A-H, Ha, from where the word comes heart. Frequency is the key. Frequency of the heart is 528 hertz. Like if you listen to the solfeggio frequency and you want to work on your heart chakra, so 528 hertz. The middle note in music. The middle chakra. In the process of creation, after the ether element comes the air. It's called prana. The green blade of grass converts the energy from the sun and creates oxygen. After the element of air comes the light. In the color spectrum, heart is green. So the sound creates forms from matter and energy, as we have already spoke about before, kymatics or cymatics. That's the yantra, now known as sacred geometry, the whole podcast that we had last weekend about that. Geometry is about numbers, and numbers are the language of creation. Water is liquid crystal. Our body is 80% liquid or liquid crystal. When frequency of 528 hertz is mirrored in the water, it creates geometric patterns, yantra, of the heart, or the Star of David, or the two triangles. So each sacred geometric pattern, yantra, has corresponding mantra at subtle level, because from vibration comes matter. Heart is love. When 528 hertz reverse is fear and hate. The emotion of love is a very large electromagnetic field of vibratory pattern. Our chakras are the endocrine glands. Hormones are electromagnetically charged. Sound heals the soul. Love is the universal healer. Water is universal solvent. Music is the universal language, as in the microcosm. The spiritual body of chakras, so is our collective consciousness. And so is the creation of the macrocosm. The seven lokas or the dimensions. It's connecting to the really the also the shape of the earth right there, the dimensions above and below, right? The within the seven chakras, the seven levels, the seven heavens. Sound healing. In the Vedic system of sound, Nada Yoga, each vowel sound and musical note is associated with a chakra. Those vowel sounds are found in the most ancient mystical traditions, including the Egyptians, the Jewish, the Kabbalahs, the Mayans, the Native Americans, the Tibetans. When the vowel sound is pronounced, such as ah, one will feel the vibration in the associated chakra for ah. It's the heart chakra.
Right. Vika, isn't that a toroidal field also that can be read, I think, 3 feet around your whole body with really 6 feet? You stand in the middle of a 6-foot electrical bubble from your
Oh
heart.
yeah, our aura or energy body or the chakra, the light body, right? So as we spoke in the last one about how our energy body is not only the physical one only, like, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And there's another one where science is admitting to that. Oh, they can read an electrical field around your body. That's what I'm talking about. That 6-foot bubble you're in. So they admit to these things. They just put them in ways that are like, wow, they don't know. And they kind of just glance across things and make it a mystery.
Oh yeah, because if the light is also energy, right, and we are vibrating, and so there has to be some production, of energy and light and frequency and vibration and electromagnetics, right, all together within us, above us, below us, right?
100%. And it makes me think that we could possibly have a little control of that vibration in our physical selves as well. With healing, right? You can aid to healing yourself. The human body is really very hard to destroy. That's obvious, right? Look at the doing to us, and we're still walking around. And it has an amazing, factory to heal itself against all these things. And you can aid to that too. I was in the garden. I scraped my knuckles really nice yesterday, and I put a little dirt in it and just kept going, and they're almost gone now. And that's how I think. I was doing that since I was a little kid, where I freaked out some other kid when they asked where that cut went. Like, we're always getting banged up as kids, right? So, I said, oh, I try to help myself heal, kind of thing. And the kid was like, what? So then soon thereafter, I got another cut with that kid. And I'm like, I scrape, you know what I mean? I'm like, watch, I'll make this go away. It's quicker than you think. And yeah, sure enough, in like 2 days, it was gone. And the kid was like a little freaked out by it because it was, it wasn't really normal. Actually, it really wasn't. It's just what you do. And as a kid, sometimes it's hard to argue with kids, right? Because the grown-up world hasn't just completely washed away everything that's good out of them. And that's what was going on. And it still
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, brother. You can get in a world and really help yourself in a vibration level, like with the bugs. I'm at this point, 3 years later, I'm pretty convinced that it had something to do with it. I'm almost tempted to not try it and see if they come get me, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, yeah. So, be it Vedic system of sound or any other solfeggio frequency sound or any other way of the sounds that you have for you to connect and heal. So, in the Vedic, they have rhythms called ragas, and they have emerged from the cosmic consciousness at the start of the creation, because Om, as we spoke about, also is a sound, right? So when sung accurately, each has a unique effect on the human being. And as they are in rhythm of the underlying vibration of existence, at the substratum of our existence is consciousness. From consciousness comes the primordial energy. The energy is also called the goddess Shakti. Shakti is supposed to be the wife of Shiva, one of the gods of Vedic. So energy is Shakti. Shakti also means power, energy. Then vibrations, from vibrations, subtle divine light. From light becomes matter. Okay, we have the primordial energy Shakti, then the vibration, and from the vibration, subtle divine light, and from the light becomes matter. As our body is matter and of this three-dimensional reality, this subtle light is a part of our subtle, higher dimensional existence. Vibrations are subtler and closer to consciousness, which is the subtest. Ancient meditators tap deep into their consciousness and experience these lights, sounds, and vibrations. They then formed hymns and chants that would create the resonance of these vibrations within. Because vibrations are the link to consciousness. And bringing one closer to the experience of consciousness. It is the vibration of the chants that is more important than the meaning. It's crazy. As Sanskrit and Hebrew are energy-based languages, that is why the Vedic practitioners were so strict about learning and pronouncing mantras in the correct rhythm. Vedic mantras are energy formulas.
Hey Vika, that reminds me, that how important the sounds are, and why they've been taken away, and why we've been handed these languages that we have nowadays, because they're probably horrible languages to be talking. Even good things, I think, even the good things that we try to say to each other are probably really not as good as some of the languages you're talking about, the older ones that have more meaning, maybe less words too, right? I'm not sure, but I mean, they gave us the language just to distort what we're saying to each other. And like, yeah, life goes on, we're functioning, daily life is happening, but we could be using much different words that mean much, much more to our soul and our what we're putting into each other's ears, in other words.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because we could have even a whole podcast on that topic about languages,
Yeah.
and English being the most empty language that could exist in the level of frequency and vibration and meaning.
Yeah, I bet. I wouldn't doubt that at all. It's with the newest too, so watch the next language. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, it's just to communicate a bit and just screw everybody. That's what it is for.
Exactly. Just to create that confusion. We're babbling. It's Babylon right now. It's funny though, right? It's crazy, man. It is the yin and yang right now.
Exactly. So it's said that like precise vibration from the chanting of Vedic mantras and the light from the fire ritual, it was for creating health at the cellular DNA level. The secret is connections of mantras with DNA, and the rishis knew this. Mantras purify. Mantras are another whole mystical subject. A purified one can use mantra as formulas. For sure, there are different mantras in different cosmologies and different cultures, but it all have the same purpose. So there's a whole study by some doctor from Russia, one biophysicist that he worked research about light, sound, and the junk DNA. So and how they were trying to study the DNA and the way lights and sounds and vibrations communicate, right? It's a whole deep study, but we're not going to get into it. And there's sacred geometry and vibrations. We did the sacred geometry. But from vibration come matter. The effect of vibrations on matter can be seen through the experiments of cymatics. In this process, the vibrations of different frequencies are passed through particles or liquid, which forms perfect symmetrical patterns. The patterns change as the frequency change. The symmetry and the geometric forms that we see in nature have therefore been formed from the subtle vibrations as the basis. What is interesting is that the geometric shapes formed by different frequencies are very similar to the yantras. The yantras are the symbols of the chakras or sacred geometry of the Vedics and many ancient cultures. The vibration from singing and chanting also creates these patterns in our cells, which are mostly water, bringing harmony. Sounding at a particular frequency. Example, Om. As I said, Om is supposed to be the pulse of the universe, right? The Om is also the 369, the symbol. Would have the same effect on cells which are not tuned well, as dropping a pebble on a disturbed surface of water, which could then bring harmonious ripples. Each object has a resonant frequency. Each organ, each human being has their own unique soul signature. So does all the luminaries and so on. When you are in the presence of an evolved being, your soul starts resonating with theirs, and you feel vibrational elevation. It is like the two tuning forks. When one is struck, the other starts to resonate at the same frequency. Each object a person wears for a while carries their vibrations.
Yeah, Vikka, that's a good one right there, bro. If you take 3 tuning forks and 2 of them are alike, and you ring one of them that is alike next to the 2 that are different, the different one will not react to the tuning fork if you strike it near it. But the similar one, the same one, if it's wrong and you put it near the other tuning fork, that tuning fork will start ringing without touching it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
exactly. Go ahead, Keith.
I was just saying that is a very cool experiment. I've seen that done before. But that's an interesting idea you just presented, Vikka, about people vibrating on different levels themselves. It almost makes me think about every individual having a unique fingerprint. It makes me wonder if every individual has a unique frequency that they're tuned into.
Oh yeah, totally possible.
All right. It's a big radio.
So the place,
I would imagine, thinking of that, Keith, I would imagine that we have our own like fingerprint, like you say, something like that, right? And as well as common ones, right? Maybe both.
Yeah, maybe both. You know, there's another subject called, I think it's morphic resonance. You guys heard of that? It's something to the effect that, like, if you take a group of animals here in Florida, let's say, and you teach them a new trick, well, those same animals all across the surface of the flat Earth will know that same trick, even though they didn't see it directly. Something about the animals starting to pick that up, and they've done this experiment with rats and monkeys and different things, that when a group or even just one of them is taught a new habit, how it seems like that entire species learns it automatically.
Really?
Yeah, super cool. Morphic resonance. You look into it. I think Eric Dubay has a video on it. And I forget the name of the scientist who's been putting it out there for probably 20 years. I mean, the mainstream science thinks he's a quack or whatever else, but he's got some proof about it and how it has worked with the animals, and that it works with humans too. I mean, that's why you have Operation Mockingbird and all this stuff with the mainstream media and the news parodying each other, because they're trying to get everybody to think the same.
Wow. It's true. To get them all in the mindset, in a fear-based mind control.
Yeah. I mean, like lately, everything about aliens. I mean, everybody's thinking about aliens, and nobody's going to be surprised when they put Project Bluebeam up in the skies.
Yeah, and that'll have its surprises.
Oh, yeah. So the places where spiritual practices or events happen carry a higher vibration in its subtle space. In location where a person or a people have attained liberation, the transcendental vibration stays for ages.
Wow, like on a mass scale, I guess it just sits and resonates, I guess, huh?
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Those places become places of pilgrimage.
Yeah, and a lot of those places are those old world buildings, the ancient structures that nowadays are called cathedrals. I don't think they were churches back in the day, but they all have those cavity magnetrons built into the buildings everywhere. Yep. which seems to be a path or something for a resonance or a frequency to travel through to, God only knows what it actually did back in the day. But nowadays all those things have stained glass windows in them, or they've been like shut off so that the power
block the sound.
Yeah, to block the resonance or to block the frequency that was traveling through those.
Yeah.
We talk about cymatic patterns. Most of those magnetrons they are perfectly built in stone as a cymatic pattern.
Right. They're so cool. And to think hammer and chisel with, donkeys and carts.
Yeah, I use that all the time, almost every day. and no power tools, just candlelight.
Right. Power tools come out in the 1840s, I think, maybe 60s.
Yeah, not too long ago.
No.
And those buildings are supposed to have a lot of them were supposed to have been built, in the 1500s. So we're supposed to be going back over 500 years with these amazing structures.
Right.
The theory is that those were actually machines.
Yeah, and what about the pyramids lining up to Orion's belt? They're in locations that have probably vibrational harmony with
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do it, but I'd love to see the flat Earth map with the ley lines and see where those structures are in relevance to the ley lines. Because I bet you a bunch of them are right smack dab on them.
I would imagine. Like the 33rd parallel has activity on it for some strange reasons, right? So
there are many places, and especially as you guys are speaking about the constructions and these special places, for sure they have this kind of energy. And also in India, they also have many places like this. So if you become aware of your subtle body, you can feel these subtle vibrations from other people or places.
Nice.
So there are many places which are pregnant with these sweet, divine, transcendental vibrations, or also can be a part of nature where you feel that special connection. Doesn't have to be a religious place or a cathedral or a temple, right? Be in resonance with your true divine self.
Hey Vika, what's up with the Vedic temple or in India with the musical pillars, where the pillars made out of stone will resonate or vibrate at different frequencies?
Yeah.
I don't know much about that. Do you?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. They are built in that way that you can, the pillars that if you touch, they play like organs. They play. You can like
Right.
makes echo in the whole temples, and there could be few people who could be playing and touching those pillars and could kind of create songs, and it's crazy stuff.
If you have like a countertop standing up and you hit it properly, you can kind of get it to ring. But the columns you're talking about, to get them to ring perfectly, it's crazy.
Again, back with those horse and cart people. I mean, how did they?
Right. And they polishing stuff down with pumice.
Yeah.
And it's great stories, but not really. It's a shame because the stories are the ones being believed by people.
So much that we don't know, but we're all seeking and finding slowly but surely, I feel.
Me too. You know what, guys? I think this vibrational one is a really great topic on how to figure things out, because like you just said, Keith, in the collective, if we're in a collective, we'll come up with these answers.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why flat Earth is growing so much, is that it's in the mindset of humanity now, and I think at some point it should hit a tipping point, and instead of us being the minority, we be the majority again, and the globe just becomes a laughing stock from the government history narrative, and everybody once again knows the Earth is flat, and then we get back to living with free energy and all this beauty that could be everywhere, and we see so much death and destruction and lies and violence in the world. I mean, maybe we're changing that just with something as simple as the door of flat Earth. I told some people this week, I said, flat Earth is just a door. It's just a door of truth. You walk through it, and then you start realizing other truths, where you start being aware of the lies that you used to believe, that most of humanity still believes. And the more truth you learn, the more free you become, or at least a greater sense of freedom in your daily life. And that's my experience, as well as many other flat earthers that I know.
Sure.
It's just something that it's in the mindset. The truth is out, and I think it's going to just continue to grow rapidly over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Bro, we have the truth on our side, and once it's presented, hopefully the seeds that were throwing all over the place are growing, because we got a lot of compelling things. And an honest, skeptical, grown adult or kid even has a weak spot, let's call it, where they're going to be able to see one of these serious problems with the narrative.
I got to tell you guys something funny that happened just today related to that. I was out and about, I was taking a couple hours to myself, and I saw a garage sale sign. So I pulled over to go to this garage sale, and I get out, and I've got my one of my flat Earth T-shirts on of the Gleason's map. And as I'm walking up the driveway, the lady having the sale says, oh, "You're a flat earther. Are you a flat earther?" I said, 100%. She goes, "Yes." And her friend that's there at the garage sale with her says, "Oh no, not another one." So we just start talking, having a conversation, and obviously her friend had been telling her about flat Earth, and I came up and I just water some of the seeds. And by the time I left there 5 minutes later, her friend was just nodding her head like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's great. It's like music. Everybody's got, like a genre they don't like, but sometimes you can find a song that gets them into it. And if they hear the right song, they like this whole new genre. So that's how I can assimilate it to now, to music, because I liked heavy metal, and I tried getting everyone into it, and I found a lot of people's weak spot with a good song. So with that idea, everybody's got, with the narrative being so wrong, everybody's got to have a problem with it. So if you can talk about where their problem is, connecting the dots might not be so difficult. But to come at them random sometimes is, not always approach.
Yeah, I can usually tell if they're open or if they're not. And if they're not open, I just move on. I just change the conversation or just say have a good day and keep going. But yeah, trying to make somebody hear a frequency or make somebody hear a vibration or feel a vibration that they're just nowhere near that vibration themselves personally, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's talking butterflies and with caterpillars, right? Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny analogy.
Or chickens and eagles. The eagles fly and chickens fry.
That's funny. No, it's true. But the seeds are fun, though, because we do have some seriously compelling, simple things for anybody to think about, like the water situation. Water don't curve anywhere on the surface, guys. And now it's even being proved with all the proof we're having now. It's great to have the truth on your side, because you can't talk to anybody about it with all the nonsense.
Exactly, and also the crystals, the gemstones, and they always said because they in reality is no magic; it's just the vibration they have. That's why some people are believing the crystal healings, and it's nothing magical about it. It's all about the frequency and vibration of everything that exists.
Hey guys, if you take two crystals and rub them together, they light. Really cool to see that. Shut the light out, rub your two crystals together, watch what happens.
I'm gonna have to try that. I haven't done that before.
Oh, bro, it's so cool. It's like magical. It's like, what is this? What is this magic?
Oh yeah. So we live in a vibrational universe and are vibrational beings. When we talk, sing, and listen to music, we are catching the vibration of the sound waves. Human body is 60% water. The fluid-filled cells vibrate continuously at their own unique resonant frequencies. Sound waves also vibrate through air and at certain frequency and transmit through fluid or body at even faster frequency. Through the years, human can perceive and process sounds and maintain physical equilibrium. The sound waves as a movement of air molecules travel along its passage until they hit the eardrum and cause it to vibrate. As a result, the ear translates these vibrations into nerve impulses, which travel through the brain where they are decoded. Through the lungs or the voice box, we can produce sound with vibration of the vocal cords. The vibration of the mantra as sound, human can hear and sing, can penetrate through skin, ears, bones, and vice versa. The physical body acts like a giant resonator, responding to the vibrational patterns around us. When we observe two pendulums in close contact, they synchronize and resonate at the same frequency. This phenomena is entertainment, and it accounts for why our heartbeats and our breathing tends to synchronize with the beat of the music we listen or chant. Sound through vibration alters the body's physical state and can affect one on a deep emotional and spiritual level. The application of sound waves optimize cellular reorganization, physical health, mood enhancement, and psychological well-being. The limbic system, which governs the emotional response of pain and pleasure, as well as such involuntary processes as body temperatures and blood pressure, endorphins released, producing a natural sense of calmness, peace, and serves as a natural deterrent to the experience of pain. The hippocampus, implicated in relating different musical pieces to one another, as well as differentiating between different style of music. In order to process a melody, many functioning areas of the brain, such as frontal lobes, are greatly involved. The frontal lobes are related to the development of self-awareness, calmness, focus, and intellect. The brain stem, which integrates an intensity and pitch information relayed from the colea, is also important in localizing sound, as well in regulating the breath through the respiratory center. So it is observed that listening to the interpreting sound music can activate the neuronal pathways, leading to an increased efficiency of the neurons. The increase in the efficiency of the neurons may also encourage the formation of new synaptic connections, which we lose by the older we get. So even some people who were immobile were able to get up and walk around when the certain kind of music was playing. This implies that particular kind of sound can elicit complex motor behavior. It has described that certain type of music can synchronize brain waves. When we study the human body as a multi-vibrational system of cells, fluids, and energy, we can see it's a perfect and intelligent design at the microscopic level, and marvel at its innate abilities of cellular renewal and self-regeneration. Using the modalities of the sound vibration, healing movement, and conscious breathing, combined with the sheer wonder and the genius of the human spirit. Any kind of meditation or practice creates harmony, balance, resilience, promoting optimal health and well-being. So we are part energy, frequency, and vibration. So I'm going to be having a last connection of the same thing, but according to the in the Vedics, they have their own way also of explaining as gods with the frequency, energy, and vibration. Okay, in ancient sages from the lineage of Shaiva Tantra recognized that a pulsing energy, which is called spanda, is at the heart of all phenomena. They also believed that these vibrating pulses of conscious energy have an emotional flavor which is bliss. The pulse is considered the form that Shakti, Shakti is supposed to be the wife of Shiva, the feminine aspect of God, takes when she whirls out of the enduring, timeless field of consciousness. Shiva, the masculine aspect of God, and dances it into the different temporary structures and creations: atoms, stars, luminaries, life, us. The universe is therefore essentially an aesthetic dance of goddesses. If we can unravel the temporal form of stuff, the fiber at its heart is a pulse of quivering love. Spanda is the pulsation of the ecstasy of divine consciousness. The recognition that Shakti is the heart of all, that is the energy, that we are just blissfully pulsing packets of energy or spanda, allows for a more inclusive attitude to our minds, to ourself, to creating and living in this life. Everything is sacred at some level, spun from the fiber of consciousness. Everything can be used as a path back to the arms of the divine in your life, can ultimately be unrevealed back into this pulse of bliss. Stachinanda is a Sanskrit term that states that Sat, ultimate reality, consciousness of Anda, that is bliss. It's just a mythological or a different way of explaining the same thing of vibration, frequency, and energy. Crazy stuff. All right, guys, we're going to be having a last thoughts and we're going to be wrapping it up.
I'll go first. It's been a good show. It's good to think about this stuff. Good to talk about it. And I'm going to keep seeking and finding. Asking you'll receive, seeking you will find, knocking the door will be open. And I think I shared a week or two ago that if you're asking and not receiving, then you keep on asking. If you're knocking and the door is not being open, then you keep on knocking. If you're seeking and not finding, then you keep on seeking. You just keep on. And I think that's part of this. When we were talking earlier about your thoughts and your words and your actions, a key word is consistency. The consistent thoughts that you hold in your mind, the consistent conversation coming out of your mouth, and the consistent actions that you take, that creates the life that you're living. So, for whatever it's worth, consistency is key. Vikka, thank you again. Gene, good to be with you again. And I'll see you guys again real soon.
Oh, yeah. It's important to follow the way and don't get lost, right? So, exactly, brother. Thanks for being here, Keith. Gene.
Hey guys, yeah, that was an excellent show, bro. Very, very enlightening, and it was deep. Had a lot of fun. Keith, I was good to be here with you too, brother. I got to look more into that morphic resonance you were talking about. When a certain group of animals will kind of herd mentality. the rest of the species when it learns something new somehow mentally through the ether or whatever they're using is pretty fascinating. And I'd like to look into more of that. I think that could happen as a human species too, right? Because that's why they're diverting our attentions away from doing good things in proper ways with little distortions, like you said too. The slight difference in the frequency we listen to is 8 hertz. So you might think, wow, what's that? But we don't even know. So no, yeah, and consistency really is it, guys. Act like you did what you're looking for already. Don't act like you want some, and just keep doing it, and you'll find things. And when you do, resonate with that alone. What the steps you took to get to that position where you did find out that this really does work. And that's when you create that relationship with you and the world around you that nobody can really touch. It's a really personal thing. And but no, thanks guys for being here, and I hope you had fun, and we'll see you next week, right? I hope so. Vikka, thanks, brother. Excellent show, man. Happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, brother. We didn't even scratch the surface. There's so much stuff we could have gone on. So definitely we're gonna have a second part of this too. So.
Cool.
Yeah,
so many things.
And it's all connected. We see that, it's all interconnected. The earth is also is pulsating, with this energy, frequency, and vibration. And every luminaries, every tree, every animal, us, everything, every matter that exists, right? It's all different vibrations, and that's why we are different from other things that exist. But the code is the same, right? Is the and as we spoke about the toroidal field, all the technology from Tesla and how it only works on a flat realm, and so it's the same. The macrocosm, the microcosm, the Earth, it's just like a giant battery, with those two polarities, and it's also about the same thing, so. It's all interconnected and interrelated, and we, as being the center of our universe, as a place, and as we beings individually too, right?
Oh yeah, and a great part of the fun doing these shows, bro, with you guys is to make the obscure, faraway dots really connect really hard, where it's like undeniable, like, wow, hard to say now. How do you get from there? Like, yeah, watch, hold on a second, we'll explain this. Because they do, all this stuff's connected, and some of them are further apart than others, so that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and for sure we're gonna go deeper in this also, and everything related and connected to it. So awesome, brother. Thanks for being here. So there you have it, people. When you live in flow and attract what you desire, you will be amazed at the miracles that starts to happen in your life. Everything you want is within your reach. So start focusing on your energy, frequency, and vibration. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks Gene. Thanks Keith. Thanks everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys check us out on the next episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host Vikka Draziv signing out, guys. See you soon. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
problem.